Previously on Elysia Rising.
Do you have the plans that I asked for you? The ones of Bell Tower Prison and the areas beneath it?
These were drawn from before all of this, getting wrenched from the ground and hurled into oblivion could really do a number on the underground tunnels, you understand. As far as the Hollow are concerned, the birth of the Hollow Man is one that will forever change Elysia. Magpie, you recognise Samuel, and he recognises you. Oh, Amina, what have you done? It's the Children of Aya! It's the Children of Aya!
Oh no.
Algernon, you can see that in the tunnels that will mark your escape, there appears to be a vermintide heading in your direction.
Oh, fantastic.
Frida, I was wondering if you had any further inroads with our arsonist friends. If you know where to find them, I might propose an olive branch.
As the clerics kind of fan out, Lukraji looks at you and her eyes fall on you specifically, Algernon. Get them! And you also hear a heavy, slow footstep.
Oh, jeez. Not this guy.
As the figure stands to full height and looks to you, it slowly and kind of creakily lifts a finger to point at you, Frida. I've been waiting for this for a long time. As it begins down the steps towards you.
Welcome to Elysia, the jewel of the north. On our gilded streets, fortune and fame can be found by anyone.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Magpie, an ace of our lurk.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Cavern, a dragon-scent slide.
Hi, I'm Meg. I'm playing Frida, a wolfkin cutter.
Hi, I'm JC, and I'll be playing Algernon, an ace of our spider.
Hello, I'm Errol. I am playing Atta, a goblin whisperer.
And my name is DM Dan. I will be the games master on this adventure.
So come on in and marvel at our wonders. Make sure you see the beautiful views we have to offer, and don't mind the ghosts. They're friendly, really. Grab yourselves a seat and make yourselves welcome in the city of Elysia.
Who wants to go next?
Really regret using all my good abilities on that stupid drawbridge now. God damn.
Uh-oh.
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 Has anyone got a special make mech suit not work ability? Atta?
No, I don't think I do.
That's okay. It was a long shot.
I wish.
Where's the off switch?
Is there a power cell at the back? We can just flip.
An EMP bomb.
Sorry, I know Cavern wants to say something, but I mean, I could ask a ghost to try and turn it off from the inside. That is a backup.
That's exactly what you should do. Sorry, Cavern, go ahead.
I was going to say I could possibly do something to distract Caleb while that happens. How you do that?
Tease.
Yep.
Frida, would you have told us that Caleb is an ire nut?
Is a what? Sorry.
Is a nut for the mother dragon? Is like ire. Ire.
Oh yeah. I would. Yeah.
In that case, Cavern is going to try and spout some like massively like contradictory verses from
some anti-doctrine.
Some anti-doctrine to just rile him up a bit.
Wow.
To just make him go a bit, because obviously like the more important thing is of him attacking Frida is probably that we're not bashing on his views of what ire is all about. So I wanted to sort of recite some sort of verbs that maybe sort of like get him to go, actually no.
Just get them slightly wrong.
Yeah. And just make him really angry about it to distract him from hopefully then a ghost getting
Listen to the cheesemakers.
Yeah.
I'm on board with this. I'm on board with this. I've just realised when you drop the drawbridge, that is one further segment on the escape clock. Yes, you can absolutely attempt to have a faith off with who. Well, I suppose you're just wondering what is this suit? What is this large pressurized suit walking towards us?
I mean, has Frida mentioned and gone like, oh no?
In all fairness, I think you probably, at the recognition of Frida recognizing the voice, the colour would have just drained from her. And I think Frida very, very rarely lets herself appear frightened to other people. And the only other time you've seen that sort of terror even come close to her face is when she has been talking about Caleb. So based on that, I think you could quite easily make an assumption that that is who is in this thing.
Yes, especially as this thing appears to know Frida.
Yeah.
And most people really like me.
Yes. What I will also very quickly interject with is there's this hulking figure stomping its way down towards you, seemingly its focus fixed on Frida. But Catherine, you also then notice that like one of the faces in one of the tunnels overhead, like watching down, is a slightly deranged looking goblin woman. Have you been to the Hollow? You've met Umi?
Yeah, I've met Umi.
Yeah, of course. It's Umi. And she's sort of like watching everything that's transpiring below with this gleeful expression on her face, like it's the most exciting thing. But you notice that next to her is a badly beaten Roth, who's seemingly being held by two more of the Hollow.
And my boy.
She's just watching wildly, and Roth, like, he can only just about peer out of one eye because the other one's swollen shut, and he just he's hanging limp in the grips of the other two kind of mad scientists. It's almost as if Umi is watching what this suit is doing as like a test experiment.
Is it Gorbin time?
It's Gorbin time.
It's Gorbin time.
It's Gorbin time.
Does anyone know what that means?
Well, are you doing the dance off? Sorry, dance off. Are you doing the faith off first to distract Caleb before you gorb all over him?
Yeah. Do that. Let's try and distract him.
Really early this morning on the WhatsApp, we had a message from Errol saying, "It's gorbing time." That's my pitch for the episode name.
Look, so it's been a whole day in this time zone.
Gorbing, right?
Yeah, GHORB.
Yeah.
Okay, Catherine, first step of Operation Gorb. How are you? What ability are you using to attempt to out recite? So are you like deliberately slightly getting it wrong?
I'm sort of just like I am just trying to get it wrong.
I love this.
And just make him really angry. Can I use a sway for that?
Sure, yeah. I guess you're attempting to manipulate his emotions.
I would also like to push myself as well.
Ooh, we're all gonna get trauma.
Okay,
come on. The Act 2 finale, we might as well.
So the Hollow are a tier 2, the same as you lot now.
Ooh.
So we're going to start you on a risky standard, surprisingly.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying it's all your fault for helping them, but I'm highly implying that it's all your fault for helping them.
Frida stood in the back going, "Look at the consequences of your actions."
I'm wondering whether or not to change it to a desperate.
What's the worst that could happen?
Besides from me getting XP.
Exactly.
They've done a desperate and
go
it's turned out fine.
Desperate
Yeah,
extra.
I done a desperate and it turned out
desperate
really
greater.
well.
Oh, I'm desperate extra. Desperate greater. One extra dice, 3 sway, so it should be 4 dice. Desperate great.
What could go wrong?
Oh no!
That 5 just saved your butt.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 5.
You squeeze out a 5. So, what you begin to like? What's the theme of the? Have you got a particular kind of psalm, hymn, like passage that you're shouting out?
Yeah, I think Catherine's talking about how the greatest believers of Aya will inherit her light and her magic, but I'm just slightly getting it wrong, or I'm not just quite finishing it. I'm just like, what was that last bit? Light, energy,
Vibes.
I might interject and kind of aid you here, because if that's your angle, saying that her true believers will inherit her grace and so on and so forth, but then you're pivoting to be like, but this, like this, okay.
But she was specifically against this. Like,
Yeah.
she really doesn't like this. I should know I'm a dragon event. I should know. She doesn't
almost
like
like
this.
fighting. It's
No,
almost like
this
fighting
ain't
the
the vibe.
Old Testament of the Bible with the New Testament.
Yeah.
Because like if the Old Testament was all fire and brimstone, the New Testament is very much about love and acceptance. You're fighting that fire and brimstone with that love and acceptance.
Well, as you presumably almost like borderline, like subtly mocking him for his life choices, there, like the figure stops and sort of like the head turns to look to you, and there's a grinding of metal on metal as it turns this large kind of orb, like globe of a head to face you. And then amplified, you hear him bellow,
"Through our actions, I have ascended the flesh and become spirit. I am closer to Aya than you will ever be."
And as he says that, you are going to do it, but he lifts a hand up. And in the palm of the hand, you see what appears to be an iris open up to reveal a bluish glow.
No!
And his fingers tense, and then a beam, like a bolt of blue, like Atta, you recognize it to be some sort of like spiritual arcane ghost energy, courses from a pack on his back through like transparent tubes into his arm, into his palm, and then he'll fire a blast at you, Cavern, for severe harm.
No! Oh, shoot.
Oh, boy.
That was with a 5.
Just
What does severe harm mean?
It's gonna be level 3.
What? What are you talking about? Resist. No, you can't resist. You'll be traumatized.
Can I resist?
Unless you can. I would also throw it out as a reminder that people can step in to protect their teammates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Frida's gonna do it. Frida's gonna invoke her bodyguard ability, and I'm gonna resist that for you. So I'm gonna sort of see what he's about to do and sort of push that arm up and away.
Oh boy.
Is specifically how I want to do it.
Okay. So you're rushing the Hollow Man and knocking the hand up.
Yeah, so I've got an ability called Bodyguard. When you protect a teammate, take 1d to your resistance roll.
Okay. I'm going to call this... it's effectively... It's a kinetic blast. It's effectively an Elysian Iron Man part, like hand blast. We'll call it prowess.
Okay.
Because you've got to tough this out.
Ooh, boy.
OS. And then it's plus 1d.
What would it? No. You know what? Cavern rolled a sway. Resolve is kind of the spiritualness of magic. I'm going to call it a resolve.
Yeah.
A resolve resist.
Okay, resolve resist plus 1 dice.
Mm-hmm. Which I believe takes you up to a 5 dice resist.
Okay.
Okay, there's a success in there. That's good.
One stress,
Just one,
and I
just the one.
believe that means so you take the effects. So you take one stress, and Frida, as you rush in, you sort of like grab this hand, and it's heavier than you expect it to be. Like this figure is dense, like it's you don't know what it is. It's made of some sort of really heavy metal. But as you go to like lift the hand out of the way, it blasts you and sears across your side and your shoulder, leaving you sort of like partially burnt as the beam courses just past your head. On a resistance, will reduce that to a level 2 harm.
Can I expend my armor to make that level 1?
You can.
Yeah, gonna do that. No more armor for Frida.
Okay, so we'll put that as light burns. As this soul, and like you hear it as it rips past your head, you hear the kind of noise as it tears past you, but intermingled with it, there's also sounds of sort of like screaming wails, like the as in WAIL, and you. Well, to be fair, it's not that far off, but yeah, it like in this moment, it just. There's something in your mind that pings that this seems upsettingly close to the sort of sounds you'd hear from the spirits that haunt the outside of Elysia.
Okay.
And yeah, you knock the Hollow Man's hand backwards. The beam like carves through the stonework, like up the side of the storm drain. And then as it kind of pulls its arm away from you, it turns to regard you. It's slow and cumbersome, but you are now toe-to-toe with the Hollow Man. And you hear it shout,
Yes! Yes!
who wants to go next?
I've got a thing I want to do, but I know Atta had a thing, a ghost thing.
Well, maybe this can help you sort of get an edge on the fight with Hollow Caleb, but like I think Atta's gonna try and use compel. It's mostly likely there's a ghost around recently, possibly from Faith Rat encounter.
Well, Atta, you realise watching this beam that's just arced past Frida and nearly like blown her half her head away. This thing, this creature, this construct appears. It's almost as if it's powered by spirits.
Oh dear.
I want that suit. I want to be. Atta wants to be Iron Man. I can do good with it. I'll do good with it. I won't be corrupted by it. Also, JC looks like they might maybe want to say something.
I was thinking if it's powered by spirits, perhaps there might be some effect of putting a very decent, kind-hearted spirit of leadership into the suit.
That's good, because I was just going to do an overload of it,
that
but
would work as well.
Tavarian would like a body. I love the idea of Tavarian being in a big.
What are we going to do with Caleb though? Caleb won't go along with that.
So this might actually go along with my second part of the plan. So what I'd quite like to do is, oh gosh, I feel like it ruins the reveal a little bit.
We can wait
because I've got an idea, but do your plan, and I think what I'll do next will help. If it works, it might not work.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of Tavarian getting in a mech suit, so I like it more than exploding it. So I want to try and compel, like, as Cavern's like talking about the Church of Iron, like Tavarians in this little ghost or papoose as well, and it's like a dire situation. Yeah, I'm going to use compel on Tavarian's ghost and just go, get Caleb out of there, try and eject him so that Frida can survive. I'm absolutely going to push myself. I'm taking trauma for this. Absolutely. It's worth Tavarian in a mech is worth taking trauma.
I was going to say, Errol, I can use my emergent divinity because I don't have to do the roll and it just works. We take 2 heat. But if we want to have Tavarian mech, then I can make that work.
Let's do it that way.
I think
save your trauma for later.
Let's make it work.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get traumatized later. So,
I'll get traumatized
there will
later.
be plenty of opportunities to get traumatized later.
I was holding on to it, but Tavarian mech is the needed thing.
Right. I think it's essential.
Okay. Sure. No, this is okay. So, Cavern will need to do like an attune to fundamentally uncork Tavarian and send her on her way.
Do you want me to do help with compel stuff? Like, how do you want me to take some stress for?
I mean, I don't need to roll for it, so it just automatically works.
So I just had a thought, if those ghosts can't get out of the mech suit, then I would have thought they can't get in at the moment. But I might be able to help with that if I do my thing first. Or has Dan got a Deus? No.
You're right. You're right. Between Frida and potentially Algernon, if Magpie wants to jump in on, you will have to create some sort of entry point for Tavarian, because it seems like Frida, in this moment, as you kind of peer up into the faceplate, like the glowing faceplate of this figure, you're expecting to see Caleb's kind of distorted face, through the glass. But you realise you're just looking into an empty helmet. There's this blue kind of energy flowing around in the headspace, but there's no head.
Right.
That's okay. Because Frida wants to do 2 things. First off, she wants to fight crazy with crazy, and she's gonna neck a rage essence vial.
Oh no. Okay.
Secondly, Frida wants to get her bloodletting blade, and she wants to use her final ability, which is Ghost Fighter. She wants to imbue that melee weapon with spirit energy, so I gain potency in combat with the supernatural, and I'm gonna jam that bastard right in his big glowing eye.
Okay. Sure. This sounds like a skirmish.
Does it?
This sounds like a skirmish. So Rage Essence, a single dose increases your strength. Right. So I was going to start this as a risky lesser, given his fortitude. Your Ghost Fighter gives you potency, so that increases you up 1 effect level to risky standard. The Rage Essence increases your strength and resistance to pain, so we're going to bump you up to greater.
And also the Bloodletting Blade empowers the wielder as they take damage, of which I now have 2 level 1s.
So you have level 1 harm on you, so any attacks you make with it gain 1 extra dice for free.
Okay. So what does that bring it to total?
So if you're using skirmish baseline, that is a 3 dice risky greater. You can switch to desperate if you want to for the XP, and you can push yourself.
But I get an extra dice if I push myself, don't I?
Mm-hmm. So it'll be a 4 dice even.
Okay, so what, +4?
No, 4 total. So +2.
4 total. +2. Okay, grand. Okay. Yeah, bugger it, why not? Let's push ourselves. Yay! So let's do desperate greater +2.
Just on the off chance, does Algernon want to do a help somehow for a stress? Maybe just throw a rock at him or something.
If Algernon can like jump on his back and like almost angle his head like forward into the blade or put some force behind it, I don't know. Or Algernon might have a better idea than that. That's pretty dumb.
What idea to do once this is over?
Okay. We'll come straight to Algernon after. Right. So 2 extra dice. Risky greater. You can switch it to a desperate greater. You're going to go for the desperate greater for that sweet XP.
Sure.
Okay. Roll those dice.
Oh no, this is going to be the bad roll, isn't it? Oh, okay.
It's okay. It's all right. Oh no!
I told you it'd be the bad roll.
It is a bad roll.
That's a really bad roll.
Oh no!
I'm going to get another trauma, aren't I?
Can you resist it?
Not necessarily. You might just take level 3 harm.
Can I resist it?
Well, you can if you want trauma.
You'd have to roll a 6, whatever it will be. Right. Okay.
What is the effect?
Damn it!
Okay.
I put all the things into that.
Doesn't have to be severe harm. It could be a serious complication or a lost opportunity.
Frida, you pull down this rage essence, and you feel like the red haze begin to rise from seemingly from your gut to your throat to your head to your brain, and like the world seemingly tinges red as the effects of this potion overcome you, and as you perhaps feeding into your reckless trauma, as you kind of cast aside any notions of defense, you draw this bloodletter blade, and as you thrust at the faceplate of the hollow man, you don't see the arm come up with surprising speed to grab your wrist, just as the point floats in front of its faceplate, and then it tightens its grip and twists your arm in such a way that as you scream, your fingers involuntarily unfurl, and the 5 of you watch as the bloodletting blade slips from your grasp and tumbles down the storm drain and disappears into the horde of rats.
No.
Is there any
opportunity for action?
You lose the opportunity. Okay.
So you can resist, and then I will say that the blade falls from your hand, but it doesn't disappear into the death pit.
Is there any way one of us can resist, as in dive for the blade?
Yeah, you can step in to help an ally.
What does that... Just remind me what that involves.
So you take the effects of it, and you would make the resistance roll, which is a prowess roll.
Okay. I mean, I could try that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would visualize it as Magpie going in to grab the blade before it clatters out of sight. Yeah.
Okay. In which case, if you want to, so as this blade tumbles out of this screaming Frida's hand, you can absolutely dive for it. You'd have to kind of come off the stairwell slightly.
Yeah.
grab the blade in the
I'm very graceful.
Sure.
Which I'm going to try.
Okay, roll me.
So what do I click?
So just the prowess button.
That's fine. Okay. So 2 stress for me?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Magpie.
So,
Okay.
Frida, you're
Two
kind of oblivious to it, but the other 3 of you watch as Magpie, like seeing what's happened, she darts between you, scales up the steps behind Frida, and then, for all intents and purposes, Frida, Magpie, as you kind of leap off and you grab the inside of Frida's leg as something to hold on to, you manage to swing and snatch this kind of rune sword as it plummets through the air, and then you're able to pull yourself back onto the ledge behind Frida, now armed with the bloodletting blade yourself.
Ooh, nice.
So
Love it.
I'm still under the effects of rage essence.
Correct.
Which
You
also
will be for a few minutes.
I will be, and that
God.
basically I have resistance to pain.
Yes.
So would I be able to pull a bit of like a hero of an over-the-top anime move and just almost like ignoring what's happened, or even actually using the sort of the fact that he's got my wrist as leverage to pull myself closer to him, and with my other knuckle-dusted fist just start slamming into that faceplate again, and attempt to wreck it.
Ooh.
Sure. Yes.
Would that be too much?
No, you can start wailing on him. I mean, you've got a fist and a forehead, so
It's pretty reckless.
Yeah, it
Wouldn't
is pretty
you say?
reckless. Yeah, I would.
a little bit. Okay, so we'll start you back again on because of the rage essence. Okay, so it's now just a rage essence and your ghost fighter, so that gives you potency. So we'll start you again on risky greater.
Risky greater. I think I will keep that because I don't really have much else to give.
I've thought of a way I can assist via foresight.
Yes.
So we flash back to the conversation that Algie had with Frida just after she had almost killed that guard captain on the bridge, and Algie stopped her. Restrain yourself for now, but when time comes to kill the person who really deserves it, then that's when you can fully let yourself go. Isn't that right, Frida? Something about that conversation seeps through the rage essence into Frida's brain as she pulls her fist back.
Nice,
Okay.
nice.
Yes, and absolutely. In this moment, whilst like you, Frida, as your rage tunnel visions you're able to direct all of this like alchemically induced anger into a single target. And even though you know there's a voice in the back of your head that says this suit is empty, it does not contain the physical form of Caleb, you don't know whether it's real or a figment of your imagination, but details of his face begin to emerge behind the faceplate of the Hollow Man.
Oh no.
A focus of your anger. So, that's one extra dice from Algernon. Your rage essence and your ghost will take you back up to the effect. So, presumably, it'll be one extra dice, risky or desperate, risky, greater, wreck.
Let's keep it at risky this time because I'm so close to trauma again.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, we'll just do it. Let's get over and done with.
No!
Okay.
Wait,
Partial
cocked.
success.
It came out as a 4, thank God for that.
Okay, I want to sort of flavour this with like Frida is just thinking about all those times when she was a kid and she was left starving, all of those times that she was hit for getting her scripture wrong, all those times that like she had to look into his horrendous smug face while like, you know, she toiled away in abject poverty for this man.
Okay. as all of those thoughts flick through your head, like your wrist in his grip, you absolutely you push back on one of the steps with your heels to get as much kind of spring in it, and then you use the momentum to bring your left fist forward. And as the knuckle dusters connect with the glass pane, you hear like a crack. Your hands kind of slides off ever so slightly, but a enormous kind of crack appears across the faceplate. Great effect. So that is 3 segments of the clock. But as you crack the faceplate of the Hollow Man, the momentum rocks you forward and him back. And as he takes a steps backwards, its left hand kind of swings out to balance itself. And Frida, you're kind of carried with it until the point where you're teetering, like your tiptoes are on the side of the stairs. You're effectively only being held by the Hollow Man. As you flail for a moment, we're going to move that to a desperate position.
Oop.
As you're currently being held by the wrist by Caleb over a 60-foot drop into a sea of swarming rats.
Ideal. But you'd now have your entrance into that suit.
Yes.
By a crack. By a hairline crack, but it's there.
Oh, gosh.
So,
would any pips have appeared on the Battle for the Hollow Man clock from that,
yet.
Dan? Oh my god. What is it going to take?
Battle for the Hollow Man is the post-Tavarianing.
I see. The Gorban.
Well, now that there is a crack, Algernon, is now the time for the Gorbin? Is it Gorbin time?
It's Gorban time.
Algernon looks at the camera and says his catchphrase. It's Corbin time.
Takes the fourth wall.
Wow.
Is this now it? Is this when Cavern...
all along.
Is Cavern now asking Tavarien to invade?
Yes.
Okay. So you... Like, what is it you say to her as you invoke your emergent divinity?
He's going to recite... the way that this sort of papoose is kind of working is that he recites some sort of draconic, like how he got her out of the original orb, that he recites some sort of draconic scripture to sort of arise the ghost, and probably again from Meladani, because that worked the first time, let's give it another go. So I guess he's going to recite a scripture of calming after sort of like a raucous sort of event, calming down the souls, like a sort of chill out, like let's all get this chilled out. And he's going to recite that in Draconic to get sort of Tavarien out of her orb. And then just politely ask her, like, do you think you can handle this?
There's, like, the world seemingly slows as you kind of have this as you kind of think this conversation, as you have this conversation, like almost internally with yourself and this orb, and as you kind of watch as the form of, or a form of Tavarien almost seemingly emerges from like her confinement, and she's taking steps, but she's stood on nothing. But she kind of glances at you for a moment, and then casts her eyes over the group of sanguivar prisoners that are kind of tailing behind you. And then she glances down to the screaming, like the bloody murder screaming children of Aya that are still tearing up the stairs behind you. She then turns to regard the Hollow and Frida battling with the Hollow Man, and she looks to you, and her face is one of abject sadness. And then she closes her eyes, she grips her fist to her breastbone, and then when she opens her eyes and looks at you, there's a fierce determination. And is this as you explode with your emergent divinity?
Yeah.
Okay, carried by your by this wave of divine energy that bursts out of you, she is carried along like a ship in a storm. And you watch her hurtle towards the Hollow Man. And Cavern, as you the world is still going in slow motion, and you see that the Hollow Man has realized that it's the only thing holding Frida in place. And you watch as the fingers unfurl, and you watch as Frida's hand becomes free, and she begins rocking backwards and falling. Tavarien slams into the Hollow Man, and you watch her seemingly kind of filter in through the cracks in the faceplate. And there's a burst of light within the headspace. And then in the blink of an eye, the arm reaches back out and grabs Frida a second time around the wrist to hold her in place. And you can see that the suit is moving a bit more erratically. Like one of the other hand comes up and starts scrabbling at its face as if something is happening on the inside. But it would appear that Tavarien is now fighting for control of the suit.
Yay!
Can I then compel Caleb out?
Yes.
I try. Ooh.
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
I can at the very least try
So
to
it's an
compel Caleb
attune.
out. Okay.
The power of Atta compels you.
Well, I only get 2 dice for a tune because I'm still soul drained.
Would you like some help?
Look,
You are in no position to help,
I'm
young
just
Cavern.
saying. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
we're all looking rough. You helped plenty. I will absolutely push myself
You
for
know
this.
what?
Give
Well,
no.
you know what?
Stop!
me some.
Someone
give me
will
some
help
trauma.
you.
Aw.
Tavarien.
No. Yay!
Tavarien will take a stress.
Okay.
You get how does a ghost get stressed? Like, you can't be more stressed than dead, surely.
Well, you know.
I'm not saying
He's pretty
don't
chill
do
to
it.
me.
So just to bear in mind, the moment anyone hits full stress, they fundamentally bamf out of the mission.
Yeah,
so
you're gone out of the mission. You're just slung over someone's shoulder and carried out of there.
Yeah, you just drop down catatonic.
Which,
but
just FYI, I'm
Good to
one
know.
pip away from.
I'm
Okay,
more happy to give you a 3 dice for Tavarien, who's currently battling against Caleb within the suit.
Okay, is it a risky standard or is it? You said the position change, right?
Yeah, so this is. Yeah, I'm gonna say. Well,
Desperate.
it's desperate for the fact that Frida's teetering over the edge. So okay, you know what? Yeah, let's 3 XP for everyone. We're gonna start you on a desperate standard because Caleb is but one.
Okay, I'm
spirit.
gonna use. Yeah, I'm still gonna use Tavarian's help for just an extra dice because I'm feeling.
Okay, so a
Feeling
3 dice
them
desperate
dice gods.
standard.
Let's go. Let's roll.
Fine.
Why did it do that many?
Oh, I don't know.
What's it
We
supposed
can
to
drop
do?
off the fourth result, which was a 5. So
Yeah.
5, 5, 2. You reach out to Caleb's spirit in an attempt to sort of wrench him from the suit. Meanwhile, Tavarien is kind of pushing from her end. I'm gonna classify this as the reduced effect, so that's 2 pips on the battle for the Hollow Man. The suit appear because you're desperately trying to not let Caleb gain control, because currently Tavarien's the only thing holding, saving Frida from a very messy end. What's Magpie doing? Magpie's not going for a while.
I think Magpie is, now she's got her bloodletting blade, is probably standing at the top of the stairs, daring any children of Aya to come any closer at this point. She's placed herself between the sanguivar and the children of Aya who are coming up the stairs.
Okay, I would argue then, given the size of your group, I suspect that with a very kind of acrobatic flair, you could effectively kind of skip down one rotation of the steps to then be behind the sanguivar.
That's probably what I do. And I think I'm going to call to Samuel because I know he's got some skills.
Okay.
So I'm going to sort of indicate to him that I need his help.
In which case, as you kind of swing down, to be behind the sanguivar. As you call out, like Samuel looks up to you, nods, and like he pushes his way through the crowd to join you. And as you pick yourself up and sort of like put yourself in a defensive position, you are face to face with High Priestess Lukraji Esof at the head of her 5 other clerics.
Let's go.
She looks to you and looks to Samuel, and then looks back to you with this, her face contorted in anger, and step aside, girl, and allow Aya to give you her forgiveness.
You, Aya, and all the rest of you bastards can come through me.
She bares her teeth at you in an animalistic snarl, and she sort of like grips her staff with 2 sides, and the glow from the edifice at the top of it begins to glow even brighter as she wields it like a mace.
I am going to attempt to knock it out of her hands and down the stairs with the blade that I'm holding, using my finesse.
Okay. We will... Okay, so finesse. Lukraji Esof, the head of the Children of Aya, is tier 4.
Whoops.
So, we're going to start...
Whoops!
We're going to start...
No effect.
On a risky no effect.
Blimey, what am I supposed to do now? Dan, can I have a devil's bargain, please? Because I can't push myself without getting trauma. I think,
Samuel
I can't. I literally
help.
can't.
He'll take a stress.
Sure.
Because that's why he's there.
Sure.
But that will mean he's also implicit in any outcomes.
Sure. So does that mean we can convert that die into limited effect?
Correct. So you're at risky limited. You can switch to desperate standard for free.
Yes, please. So desperate standard, 2 dice roll.
Yeah.
Can I have a devil's bargain, please, Dan?
No matter what happens, the rats unexpectedly surge.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
How quickly can you guys resolve this hollow man? Because rats be surging right now, and we need to get out of here.
We're trying.
I know. I'm taking the bargain. I'm so sorry, everybody. So +1 die.
Yeah.
Desperate standard. Roll it.
Oh, nice.
It's a 6. Wham!
In which case, this seasoned, veteran of the war, strides forward, and with a she swings her staff at you.
Does Samuel just come in with a little punch to the nose, and I take the moment to knock the thing out of her hands?
The 2 of you duck, and this staff over your head and bounces off the side of the wall. The force of it kind of knocks her slightly to the side. Samuel goes low and sort of jabs at her knee, and then you're able to kind of get your rapier around her hands, and with a twist, the staff, the recoil of the staff coming back, it slips from her hand and spirals down into the pit.
That's what we like.
And Lukraji watches in panic as her magical staff disappears, and you watch as this staff flies down, and it just is absorbed into this mass of rats, which seems to be growing it's almost like the storm drain is flooding with these rats as they begin more and more are just forcing themselves in. They're climbing on top of one another, screaming and screeching and scrabbling as they begin. Some of them are coming up the stairs. You see the last cleric at the back of the group sort of trying to fend them off and stamp on them, but you watch as they sort of start scrabbling up her leg, and she and slips and disappears into the pool of rats. Lukraji is now disarmed, and as you watch this iron fall into the rats, and just you daren't consider what's happening to them, the most curious thing happens. I think Algernon would also kind of pick up on this through your kind of 360 observation skills, is that for the faintest of moments, the swarm of rats almost seem to form a shape of some sort. Like a face.
Oh no.
A screaming humanoid face.
What?
And Algernon, in your head, you hear, "Feast, my children. Feast." As the rats, like the shape of this face, which is only there for a few seconds, just kind of collapses in on itself. And then they direct, and a wedge of kind of vermin begins pouring up the staircase after the irons.
Sorry, since when has there been a rat mother goddess or something? Like, what is happening?
I'm into it.
You would be.
Who would like to step up to the plate next? You know what, Algernon, you've seen this. What's Algernon doing?
Before sorry, JC, just quickly, like, question to the group: who's got a free loadout slot?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I probably might.
Maybe Atta then. Is it possible to have a flashback where Frida, like, basically palms one of the remaining alchemist fire when handing over to Fiennes, and instead give the last vial to Atta and say to her, just keep this safe just in case?
Atta would take that incredibly seriously, although, you know, if you hadn't said that, Atta would keep it
just like,
very
you know,
serious and very safe.
Yeah, I would have been like, just in case it gets quite hairy down in those sewers. We never know what we're going to come up against, so keep this on hand. This one won't go to Fiennes, this one's for you, just in case you need it.
Meanwhile, on the river, Fiends is looking at the box thinking, "Oh no, I thought there were 6 in here. Oh god, where's the 6th one gone? Oh no." Okay.
Anyway, back to JC. Sorry, JC.
So to set the scene, facing the rats, Magpie's bare knuckle boxing with High Priestess Lucragi.
Not bare knuckle, I've got a sword.
Frida is currently being held onto by a sealed, no longer sealed suit of armor, inhabited by Tavarian and Frida's rival, and like you and Cavern and Atta are just kind of in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
I would like to look up and address Umi.
Okay.
Umi, there you are. We've been waiting for you.
Umi, like, it takes a moment, and she sort of like glances at you, then kind of glances back to the fight, like the Hollow Man, and then she, hello, she shouts, and she kind of waves.
We've brought the final spirit that is needed for the full evolution. Were you not aware of the plan? I see you found our boy Roth. Did he not have the time to fill you in?
There's 2 looks of confusion, one from Umi and one from Roth. The plan? The plan? What do you mean the plan?
Well, our girl Atta's been studying so diligently with you. We got a part of a task to achieve ourselves. And it's all kept hush-hush to keep prying eyes away, of course.
We like hush-hush! We like hush-hush!
Loving
sorry,
me so
who are
much.
you insinuating as this final spirit?
Tavarian.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So she's going to help finish getting Caleb out. Nice.
In which case... Sorry, go on there.
If you could give us a hand, old girl, it would be awfully appreciated. We've got some nasty folks coming up the rear, and they don't even believe in evolution.
Ooh.
That sounds...
Algernon, you are like such a goblin whisperer. Like, you manipulate all of the goblins.
That sounds to me. Well, you tell me which ability you're angling for.
I'm using my pre-existing relationship with her and the stuff we've talked about before.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's consort.
Nice.
Okay. I will start you on a risky standard. I'll start you on a risky standard.
I want to bump it up to desperate because everyone's being so desperate tonight, and I haven't done one yet.
You got FOMO for the desperate rolls.
Desperate greater. Okay, we're going to go desperate greater. Okay, marvellous. Do you want to push and or would you like a bargain?
I'm push myself anyway for an extra die.
Okay. Regardless of what happens...
You have to become the new leader of the Hollow.
Oh, Lord.
Umi will just assume that's what you're going to do.
Regardless of what happens, Lukragi strikes out against this heresy.
Ooh. That's sinister. I think I'm just going to keep it on the +1 dice from the push myself.
Okay.
Oh,
So this is a 3 dice desperate great.
Oh, good.
That's 5 for success.
5 is good.
Okay, you do it, but there's a consequence. She gives you a thumbs up and then shoots you. So, severe harm, serious complication, or you have reduced effect.
Oh, with reduced effect, I guess that would leave 1 pip still open, wouldn't it? Potentially.
Okay. She kind of nods to you and, like, she's blinking. Sorry, did you name drop Tavarian? Sorry.
No.
Okay. She's blinking as her mind races about who or what you mean. And she goes along with it. However, she believes you're referring to the High Priestess down below.
Right.
And she sort of like excitedly starts chattering to herself. And you, like, she shouts, I've always wanted a High Priestess! I've always wanted a High Priestess! And in this moment, sort of like, as she's kind of loudly chattering to herself, and she's already beginning the throes of celebration, Magpie, like, Lukragi has kind of got her hands up, open palm, like, facing you, and she's sort of like in a slightly defensive pose. But the two of you are kind of caught, like, you catch the, like, your attention is caught by Umi, like, further up. And as Lukragi looks up, it seemingly recognizes this other goblin further up. And, like, she looks to you, Magpie, she looks up and her palms begin to glow. And she thrusts a hand up in the air and kind of brings it down. And you watch as a pillar of holy fire strikes out, like, materializes and strikes out at Umi. And you hear her scream, you hear Umi scream out in pain as that drainage corridor explodes in holy fire. And Algernon, you realise that whilst Umi has been kind of, like, Umi disappears, as does Roth.
Oh no. No!
And you can resist if you want. But, like, Umi, like, surges forward, like, heavily, but, like, her hair has begun to melt on one side of her head as she, like, utterly delirious.
God.
But Roth does not reappear.
Can I resist to save Roth?
You can.
Save Roth.
So, we'll go for, let's just call it a resolve. So, a resolve resist.
A Roth, more like roast.
No! My boy.
So, yeah, a resolve resist will be 4.
Look at that
nice.
beautiful double crit.
You reduce or avoid the effects of the consequence.
Clear a stress.
You clear one stress.
Oh.
You're so cool as a cucumber. Like, presumably part of the plan. Because Roth, seeing what's about to happen, like looks up. And in the moment where his two captors sort of like looking at this glowing ball of holy light that's materialized like in front of them in the storm drain, Roth breaks himself free and throws himself backwards.
Yes!
As the holy fire incinerates the two hollow captors that were holding him, immolates Umi, and he watches as she kind of collapses to the ground in front of him and then kind of looks at him with this mad, gleeful look in her eye before she surges back to the front, desperate to get her prize of a high priestess soul.
That was incredible.
And she produces a magic item from her little vantage point and she interacts with it. You watch as these sort of like exhaust vents on the back of the hollow man open up, and this kind of blue-grey wispy smoke starts kind of filtering out of it. And you hear Caleb roaring in anger as his movements become a bit more slow as the soul energy is arguably being siphoned out. Effectively, Umi's begun to turn it off. She's venting Caleb. We'll move that whole desperate scenario back to risky, but we'll also tick up 2 on the hollow clock because they've all been, loads of them have just been cremated. Frida's been dangling for a while.
Yeah, he's been dangling for a while. Oh my gosh, what's been going on? How far down are all the rats?
So the rats are now they're about 50 feet below you, but they're surging. They're not using the stairs really. It's just the sheer volume of rats. They're just kind of clambering on each other, getting higher and higher.
Right. Okay. So
yes, you're being held by the wrist. There's rats about 50 feet up. They appear to be climbing on top of each other to just rise up the storm drain. You can see bits of a child of Aya just like disappearing into the throng. Magpie is fighting with Lucragi, who's just like exploded a load of hollow with holy magic. It's all going down.
okay. What's the situation looking like ahead of us, like in terms of our actual exit?
So it looks like if you manage to get past Caleb, like the hollow man, now that the hollow have been like largely incinerated, the way forward is pretty much clear after this very imposing obstacle. The only other consideration is that Lucragi is still chasing you.
Yes. The only thought I've got, but it might not be quite this desperate yet, is to either ask Atta or reobtain from Atta that alchemist fire and throw it down amongst the rats. They can't surge up if they're on fire.
I mean, they can try.
Well, they can try. But
They can set us on fire.
they could set us. Well, that's the problem. I think maybe it's a bit too.
Yeah, it's a bit risky. But
I am quite reckless.
You are quite reckless, to be fair.
I think Frida would probably, if there was a target to be targeted, it would definitely still be Caleb, because that's the one that's really.
Well, if you're kind of swinging at the moment, do we want to switch over to Atta, see if you can enact your plan that will then potentially help Frida?
Yeah, you go first, and then
Sure.
I'll swing back round.
You want to do a little exorcism?
I want to try and like goblin, like just kind of leap at the, run and leap at the scramble up the leg or whatever, like inelegantly in sunset glasses. Just essentially try and see if there are any extra valves to like manipulate.
Sure.
To kind of, speed this Caleb venting along.
Sure. You can absolutely do that. What skill are you thinking of using?
I'm thinking Tinker or Wreck. They're kind of both the same.
Nice.
I get Tinker would be okay. So here, Wreck will be more impactful, but Tinker will provide Savarian better controls of whatever's left.
I feel like Tink.
If you do manage to expel him, if I am still under the effects of Ghost Fighter, I can grapple and restrain and capture spirits. So
Goodness.
And we do have a spare orb since Tavarien moved out.
We do have a spare papoose.
And a papoose.
We don't want a Caleb in a papoose. I wouldn't want anyone to have Caleb in a papoose.
I mean, it's the safest place for him.
Yeah, we can just put him in a chest.
Really?
put him in the papoose and then
Forget
poop on
about
him.
Yeah, put him in the attic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, did anyone ever
really-
watch the animated BFG? And he's got the good dreams, and then all the really naughty bad dreams, locked in a chest, chained up. We can have.
What we'll do
It's that.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
We can put Caleb and the wizard orb facing each other for eternity, and they can have a conversation about faith and the arcane, and that will be the epilogue for them. Okay, Tinker, because I don't necessarily want Tamarian to have a rougher time than she already is.
Okay, so in which case,
tinker it up.
Yeah, we're gonna start you on a. The whole Caleb situation has been downgraded in severity, so we're gonna start you on a risky standard. You Devil's Bargain. Lucragi, now spell slinging because she is a high priestess, begins to push Magpie and Samuel back.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
Or if anyone wants to help Atta, presumably not Frida.
Well, I mean, I can spend one.
Okay.
I can help. I can lift you up and chuck you.
I would love to be a Gimli. Please, Gimli me.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Gimli me now.
Catherine goes up to 8 of 9 stress. You get 1 extra dice, so you're at risky standard, 1 extra dice. You can go to desperate greater, 1 extra dice, if you so wish.
Or I could use the dice to increase the effect and keep it risky and then greater. But I don't feel confident with. I still don't feel confident just rolling 2 dice.
No, it's tricky. 2 dice. Very
but it will
tricksy.
only fill. I only fill 1 segment, and we've still got 2 segments left.
If you go desperate, a success is 3, unless I choose lesser effect, in which case it'll be 2.
Oh, okay. Then I'll have an extra dice. I think the vibes this morning as the sun comes up is 1 extra dice, please.
Nice. Do it.
Atta, you are launched kind of over the round the throng of Sanguivar. You kind of land on the steps, kind of give a thumbs up to Cavern, and as you skitter up, you can see the arm that's holding Frida by the wrist is sort of you can see that there's clearly some sort of battle happening within it, which means that you're able to just scramble up the side of the other side, the other arm, relatively undetected. You notice that there is this sort of soul pack, this power pack on the back of the Hollow Man. There are a number of tubes and whatnot kind of connected from it to various parts of the suit, but up close you can see that there's this the faceplate is kind of looking off into the middle distance in effect, but you notice that there is a seal, and you could swing it open to just openly expose the spirits to the outside world.
Yes, I shall.
Okay, in which case you kind of get your fingers in, and there's a suction sound as you open up this faceplate, and as it swings open, you hear this ephemeral roar of anger, and you watch as this, like, it's a shape that's like ink underwater that just kind of slides out of the front of the faceplate, and it kind of floats around you, and it's moving in an agitated, kind of jittery manner, but you can hear this scream of frustration coming from it. No, this isn't right. And as you like close the faceplate, the suit kind of slumps a little bit, and then the head slowly tilts up and then turns to look to you, and there's a distinctly more gentle manner in which the suit is moving. And as the suit sort of like looks around, realizing what's happened, Atta, you have to hold on tight as the other arm swings around and grabs Frida, like both arms, one on the wrist, one on the elbow, and heaves you back onto the stairwell. And with that...
As things are happening, can I just take some duct tape and duct tape up the cracker?
Absolutely. As you
smiley face.
As you evict the spirit of Caleb from the Hollow Man, we will finish the Hollow Clock, which also ticks you along 2 segments on the escape clock.
Right, can I try and grab him?
You absolutely can. Yeah, we'll just say, yeah, using your ghost orbs, you're able to, like Frida, as you're kind of pulled up. Who's got the ghost orb? Cavern.
Yeah.
Okay, so in quick succession, a pitch of like having just pitched at her, Cavern, you're able to pitch this ghost orb to Frida, and Frida, you're able to grab it and then swipe it at Caleb, and you watch as the spirit no is drawn into the orb until the glass orb then begins to glow with this misty spiritual energy.
So pretty.
Can I just before I cork it, can I just spit in the bowl, and then cork it?
Absolutely.
Grand. Wow. Flavour.
Just shake it about a bit.
Did we didn't take the devil's bargain that Lukragi pushes forward on Magpie to be. No, okay. In which case, Cavern, Algernon, you kind of look up and you see that the way forward is clear. You see that Magpie and Samuel are currently fighting some sort of like desperate rear guard against Lukragi and her ever dwindling number of clerics. Frida appears to have been saved by the suit, this sealed suit, and what seems to be the spirit of Caleb has just been captured in a ghost bottle,
and spat on.
What's Algernon doing in this moment?
If the way's ahead, I'm just going to be shepherding all the sanguivar further on ahead.
Sure. Okay. In which case, as you're shepherding them on, like Algernon, you would know, 'cause with your photographic memory of this whole kind of structure, that this storm drain, if you kind of exit it at this specific point, it's a bit of a detour, but you can still fundamentally arrive at the exit point that you wanted to head to. You just be going via like the sewers rather than the subterranean tunnels. But yeah, if the two of you wanted to escort the sanguivar out, you, for all intents and purposes, have a free run to the exit.
I'll do that then.
Yeah, I'm going to instruct Cavern and Roth and Amringer and whoever else is capable of to like just help each other get out via that route.
Sure. Okay. In which case, yeah, sort of like as you shout up to Roth, because Roth's just popped his head out. Umi's disappeared, kind of leaving Roth on his own, just like surrounded by these smouldering hollow bodies. But yeah, as you instruct Amringer, his 2 daughters, and to help everyone kind of get up, the 2 of you begin making your way to the top of the storm drain, and then into the adjoining tunnels, and then to freedom, to the pre-assigned like exit point like in Rookridge over the river, bordering with Duskland. So Magpie, Atta, well, Frida and Atta, the Sanguivar will be filing past you. Are you also going with them, or are some of you going back to help with Magpie?
I think I want to help Magpie, and I also want to try and figure out what the heart gem thing, what it's, whether it's trying to do something, like if it, I don't know what.
From the
it had
the
like
crown
a
of-
heartbeat. The crown gem.
Okay. Well, Atta, are you getting it out to like inspect it?
Yeah. I was thinking about giving it to Algernon at some point, because I kind of feel, one, Algernon's got some stress to play with, but also a decent tune score. But I kind of, for some reason, I feel like it's Algernon's thing. I don't know whether that's accurate, but
I was planning on
Algernon, if you...
Once everybody's safe, I would like to sort of hang back or circle back to the others and help with either Lucragi or whoever needs help.
Sure.
Then I'll hold on to kind of maybe help out Algernon with any rolls.
Okay.
With my last bit of stress.
Frida, you're looking kind of tuckered, but are you going with the Sanguivar and Cavern, or are you doubling back to Magpie, or are you kind of holding fire with Atta and Algernon?
I think I'm gonna go with the Sanguivar, but I am just gonna almost whisper in Atta's ear as I go past to say once they've dealt with Lucratia, those rats, they'd look awful pretty up in flames, wouldn't they? And then I'm gonna limp out because I'm looking a bit battered.
All of your rage essence has been expelled, scrambling against the Hollow Man. Okay, so Frida and Cavern are fundamentally escorting the Sanguivar away. So we'll switch back to Magpie.
Yes.
You and Samuel are currently face to face with Lucragi. Her eyes are now blazing with this kind of white energy. Her hands are wreathed in kind of holy flame, and it becomes more of an exercise in avoidance as she starts hurling these bolts of white fire, at you, at your feet. She's trying to summon an orb off the platform and then strike you with a pillar of flame. It looks like she's just using her kind of adept divine magic to push you back. But what do you do?
I'm just a girl.
Maybe we could just Sparta kick her down into the rats.
I kind of want to Sparta kick her into the rats. That's what I was thinking. And then indicate for Atta to set everything on fire. And just run. Yeah, I don't know if I can... That sounds very strength-based. Sparta kicking is the thing. I mean, I could very, very well go in for a little spin kick to sweep her legs out from under her. I love doing that kind of shit.
Yeah, no, you can absolutely do that. I mean, that sounds like what?
Finessey.
Yeah,
finessey.
Pretty finessey, yeah. To employ my acrobatic arts against her.
Sure. Roll me a finessey. We're going to start this as,
Risky zero.
Risky zero. We're back to risky zero.
Right. Yep. Cool.
So, you can...
I help by lobbing, the alchemist
But you cannot help with anything right now, Atta.
Samuel,
there's one help left in Atta.
There's one help in you. Fine, if you must.
I either help you now, or I help Algernon with something later.
Yeah.
Have a foresight to use.
Yes, I was going to say, does Algernon want to jump in?
If anyone can think of a pre-prepared way I could help with foresight.
You have already aimed with your pistol.
Ooh.
No, because my pistol is concealed.
Yes. Yes.
You tied her shoelaces together.
In the confusion.
Yeah, like 2 days ago when I went to speak to her.
Love that.
And Tavari and Mech not help Magpie by stamping the ground and making the ground go pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, baby.
I might just come along and help with some, in the normal fashion by just appearing at your side.
Yeah.
High Priestess.
Lukragi kind of stops for a moment. Her eyes revert back to their pupilled form. And she snarls, "I should have known," she says. She looks at you, Algernon, and you can all her focus is now focused on you.
Right. So now does that make it a risky limited?
Yes.
So can I make it a desperate standard, please?
Yes.
Okay, I'd love to. Let's do that. Desperate standard. I don't think I'm getting any extra dice for this, am I?
Devil's bargain.
Sure.
Oops, more rattos.
Yes, I will take more rats because there are already so many rats. I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference. Oops, more rats. +1. Okay.
Ooh,
It's a 6.
Oh, thirdly.
Oops, all 6s. And more rats. So as Algernon appears at my side and goes, High Priestess, and distracts her, I don't think Magpie even has anything witty to say. She's just gonna sweep her legs out from under her and send her flying.
In which case, she as Lukagi's attention is focused on you, Algernon, and you know in this moment that she is hyper fixated on your pupils, very specifically your pupils, and you can see her almost begin to shake with indignation. She her face thing kind of is confused, and as it computes, as her legs are swept out from under her, and she crashes to the ground, and her dense body and the armor she's wearing means that when she kind of bounces off the step and rolls back a bit, she knocks over the cleric behind her, who disappears into the mass. And then as the remaining two look up and, "High Priestess," and they kind of surge forward, Magpie, Algernon, and Samuel, what you watch as they are just enveloped by this tide of fur and teeth as the rats complete their clock.
Uh-oh! Atta!
And they don't manage to reach Lukragi before they are swarmed and pulled off the ledge and then you just watch them almost floating in the massive bodies before they're pulled under the surface.
Oh no, that's grisly.
And Lukragi is looking over her shoulder at where her clerics were, and she instinctively kind of recalls the light that she's been flinging around into her right palm, and she thrusts it forward to create a shield of sorts, and the rats kind of skitter forward and they're plowing into it and igniting and singeing as they try to push through the light that she's emitting. And then she turns to look to you, and you notice that her rage has suddenly been supplanted with abject fear and horror, as she's holding back the rats, but they're growing higher and they're threatening to kind of rise past her and then collapse on top of her, on you and everyone else.
I think seeing her fear, Magpie is going to grab her by the wrist that isn't up, making the shield, and just pull her as if to go, "Come on, you're beaten, let's go." And it's just gonna, I think the plan would be to start, running after the sanguivar, but then push her down a different tunnel, as if to say, just take your chances, go.
In this moment, roll me a sway.
I've not got good sway. My sway's only 1.
Like, there's no extras to it, no nothing.
It's almost like a sort of straight fortune roll type thing. It's just, let's just see.
Mhm.
Risky standard?
Yep.
Fine.
I mean, effectively, it's just dice roll.
It's just dice. It's a 2. It's a fail.
In which case, she's holding back the rats. She looks up to you, and there's this like look of fear. And Magpie, what do you say to her as you reach out a hand?
I say, it's over. Come quickly. There's no need to die here.
She looks from you to Algernon to Samuel to the sanguivar leaving through the top of the drain, led by Cavern and Frida. And like, as she looks back to you, Magpie, her face begins to furrow again. It's never over, she says, and she brings her right hand round to fling another spell at you. And as she does, and the wall of light that was protecting her drops as she goes to conjure a new spell, she is pressed to the steps as the rats surge over her, and they kind of scrabble up over her shoulders and like start nipping at her cheek and chin, and she stands up and there's an explosion of light as she explodes them back. But they rally and they're now in her armor, and you see us all like, no, and sort of like scrabbling to try and get them out. And as you watch this goblin woman struggling for her life, Samuel puts a hand on your shoulder and shouts, "We need to go now!"
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You tried.
I tried. Let's go.
And as you go up, the storm drain is punctuated with flashes of white light as Lucradi desperately tries to stem this tide of vermin that's crawling at her, eating her piece by piece. And as you get to the top, Algernon, you rendezvous back with Atta. And you watch as Lucradi kind of looks up to you from her position. She's only made it perhaps another few feet further up the stairs. And she looks to you with this look of unrepentant, regretless determination. And then in a moment, she's gone, along with the light that she was emitting. All that's left now is you, this storm drain, and what can only be hundreds of thousands of rats.
Oh my god.
Alchemist fire! Alchemist fire! Alchemist fire!
What was the plan with that the red gem from the crown?
I think I mostly just wanted to make sure that Algernon had it, but like the gem, from what I could remember, was it responding when we were in the tunnels? Like, get down. It was telling us to go down.
You wanted to return somewhere. Yeah, I want to take it whilst we're still here underground, and just try a little attune roll using my connection to House Antelier, just to see if I can get any kind of response from it that might point us towards something buried underneath Elysia.
Okay. In which case, as Atta hands you the crystal, the moment it's in your hand and you begin to focus on it, I won't ask for a roll, but suddenly the stone feels heavier in your hand, like it's being, like a magnetic force is pulling it down, and you can. It sounds like you're in a wind tunnel, but it's voices of a sort. It's you try to decipher what it is. And Atta, as you watch as Algernon's kind of focusing on this gem and there's something happening, you chance a glance and realise that every rat below you is looking up. All focused on Algernon.
Rat gem! Rat gem! Rat gem!
And you watch as in a much more defined and clear way the tide of rats begins to shift and move to form a face. The same face you saw a few minutes ago.
Return it. Return it to me.
The face says, as you realise that the chittering of the rat is being influenced in such a way that it's forming words. And Atta, you feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end as there's this surge of immense arcane power coming from below you.
Wow.
They seem to be drawn to this stone.
Return it to us. Return it to me.
The rats cry.
Burn them.
Yeah.
Algernon,
We'll return something.
you
Hundreds of
never
thousands.
forget a face,
I
right?
love them. Who?
Algernon never
Algernon.
forgets a face, right?
Uh-huh.
As you glance down at this impossible sight in front of you, these hundreds of thousands of rats forming what is effectively a highly detailed face of a woman, you postulate. There's this gnawing feeling in the back of your mind that the visage laid out in front of you is eerily similar to the face of Lady Turia Valenmar, previous leader of Elysia and head of House Antalir.
Ooh.
The leader who was run out by the Irons during the war.
Return it to me.
The rats bellow a second
I feel
time.
like she's trying to tell me to do something.
Demanding.
Yeah.
I am going to look towards Atta, gesture to the gem, and I'm just going to toss it back down the staircase and watch it go tink, 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 tink into this swarm of rats.
As you watch this red gem kind of flip over itself as it clatters down the stairs, you watch as the swarm instinctively reacts, and it almost looks as if like the surge of their movement almost makes it look like this large hand reaching out and enveloping the gem and scooping it into the center of the horde. And there's a frenetic energy in the amongst the rats that slowly begins to calm, and you watch as the rising sea of rats slows and then seemingly begins to recede as the gem is lost further and further in amongst their number. And as the rats begin to filter away back into the tunnels beneath Elysia, emptying out from this storm drain, you feel, Algernon, this sense of content, but it's like it's the false content of a strict parent passing judgment on their child's achievements. And before long, Atta and Algernon, you watch as the rats disappear, leaving a floor of half-devoured body bits, bones, scraps of armour from all those unfortunates who never made it up fast enough.
Oh, look, more slurry.
They're not
And
even
in
that.
the centre of
Just
it,
bone.
you see a bloodied and chewed white lacquered armour that you know once belonged to High Priestess Lucradri.
I told you that my threats weren't empty, High Priestess.
As the two of you hurry to catch up with the other three, Magpie, you've kind of rushed on to, you've paused waiting for Algernon and Atta to catch up with you. As the three of you make your way through the tunnels to the exit, you find Cavern and Frida at the exit of the tunnels as planned, with the sanguivar in tow, but they haven't emerged out onto the streets. They appear to be at the entrance, the exit, if you will. And Cavern and Frida, you've stopped because barring your exit is a blonde Lorivar woman flanked by an Ilnashi man, a thin Ilnashi man with wired muscles. And Algernon, Magpie, and Atta, as you kind of make your way to the front to see what's happening, you recognize Songbird stood with a pistol aimed at Cavern and Frida.
Oh boy.
I trusted you, she says. You notice that as she says that, the pistol moves to Frida.
I'm going to say Frida. Now, Songbird. No need to get excited. Why don't you tell us what this is all about?
Why don't you tell me why you haven't got your house in order, Algernon? This bitch has been frolicking with the kindling.
Oh boy.
Frolicking?
I see. I see where the confusion lies, but weren't you the bitch that was frolicking with Algarve? You were his private secretary, I remember.
I was doing it to try and make Elysia a better place. She's going around trying to burn it down.
Songbird now. You know I'm an old spy.
The Ilnashi then turns to you, with a raised eyebrow. What is also curious, Songbird, is that these individuals were responsible for the missing Musto. She looks back to you and, without skipping a beat, pulls the hammer back on her pistol. I let you in. I showed you what we were doing and you betrayed me, she says, and there's spittle forming between her lips. I should cut you down like the dogs you are, just like I did Velka.
Ooh.
Yes, I was about to say. I do understand your fervor when it comes to the Infinite, given your personal history.
She, her face kind of softens in surprise, and then it reinforces back into the defiant snarl.
I can tell you where he is if you want to know.
You see, she's struggling for a moment.
I suppose at this point, Lucragio is rat food. Well, probably soon to be rat shit. So Frida also steps in, and what's more, I'll have you know that Musto is far from dead. If anything, he's living it up at the mansion at the moment. And that stuff with the kindling, it was a means to an end. I am not their friend. And she sort of spits that last bit out.
She...
Is Tavarian with us?
I was going to say...
Tavarian!
And where's Ely, actually?
Caleb was able to speak through the mech. Can Tavarian speak through the mech?
Ooh.
Yeah, she can.
Wait.
Could Cavern put a hand on Mecha Tavarian's shoulder and say to Songbird, if you're not going to believe us, perhaps you'll believe her. And I'd like Tavarian to speak to Songbird.
Okay. As Songbird looks at you, Cavern, slightly confused, and like her attention turns to this hulking 7.5 foot tall construct behind you. And the thing kind of steps forward, and like Songbird takes a natural kind of step back, an instinctive step back, and you watch as, like, with the grinding of metal on metal, the suit lifts a hand up, and you hear it say, "It's me, Melina. It's me, Tavarien." And Songbird blinks. What is it? What have you done? What is this? And the suit takes another step forward and places a hand over the barrel of the gun and gently pushes it down. "When we first met, you said I was like the white flowers you loved from your childhood." And you watch as all resistance just seemingly melts out of Songbird in this moment. And she looks at her reflection in the suit's, the cracked reflection. And as she tries to formulate words, the silence is punctuated, is perforated by an explosion to the west of you. And as you turn to look, Algernon, you see this plume of fire rise up into the sky, and you realize, judging on its distance, and that was the cathedral.
Oh no!
And as the explosion as the concussive force of the explosion rips through the city, it kind of shakes Songbird back into like herself, and she kind of pulls her pistol away from Tavarian's hand, and like holsters it, and then looks to the marionettes around her, and with a sharp kind of instructive whistle, they retreat from your group as they can hear the sounds of sort of like the city guard begin emerging from whatever holes they're in and begin kind of rushing towards Abbotsgate, because the cathedral seemingly has just been attacked.
Oh gosh.
And as Songbird disappears back into the shadows, you turn to look and realise that you've made it. Are you beelining back to Cabolida Manor?
Well,
Yeah,
surely,
with all our new sanguivar.
with all our 14 sanguivar, did we have a plan for where we were taking them?
Well, I mean, the people who wanted them dead are now kind of a bit dead themselves or being attacked, so, you know.
I think maybe we've got a perfect opportunity to slip through the streets,
Mhm.
avoiding the cathedral,
Yeah.
and get them back to the manor for now, yeah.
Okay. In which case, as you, Tavarien, reanimated
Mecha
spirit
Tavarian.
suit
Negative.
and approximately 40 sanguivar make your way to the Ivory, to Cadwallader Manor, moving against the tide of the stream of people that are gravitating towards Abbotsgate to see what's just happened, as the purple sky is filtered with flecks of orange flame as the cathedral begins to burn, akin to the Ruby Keep. Elsewhere,
Oh.
in Elysia, a glass of expensive liquor is gently placed on a coaster on a rich wooden desk, covered in ledgers, receipt books, and other scriptures of business. And they're all unimportant to the Auran sprite that's currently wringing his hands, his monocle hanging limply from his breast pocket, as Odalmerce desperately tries to figure out how to work his way out of these constant, incessant assaults from the shield bearers. He takes a deep breath and another swig of the drink, finishing it before slamming the glass back down. When he hears and he sighs as he looks up to see the silver corvid mask of the raven. The errand boy of the lodge reticent. "What is it that you want?" he says, with a hint of exasperation in his voice. And the raven steps forward with a large square package about 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot. And silently, the mask-wearing individual places this box on Odelmerce's table. And with a nod and a second, the raven is gone. Odelmerce looks at the parcel curiously. It appears gift-wrapped with a small note. The note, in an eloquent cursive writing, says, "I understand you have some problems. I believe I have a solution. N." And Odelmerce, unbuttoning his top collar, kind of loosening it a bit, begins unfolding the parcel, the package in front of him, to reveal what appears to be a softly glowing glass cube with gold banding, with a light that appears to be thrumming and moving on the inside. And as he looks at this magical artifact, curiously, his face illuminated by its shifting glow, it begins to glow brighter and brighter. It begins to vibrate more and more across his desk, and his eyes open wide as an explosion rips through the room, destroying the top floor of Odelmerce's villa. And 3 blocks away, the burning cathedral to her right, the smoking villa of Odelmerce to her left. Nephene looks to the raven and smiles as she pulls her hood up and moves back to the shadows.
Girl boss.
I told you she's a bad one.
Oh boy.
Congratulations, everyone, on completing episode 15.
The good times just keep on rolling.
Couldn't just have one head of a factor dying. It had to be 2.
No, had to be 2 at least.
Yeah, I mean, we took out 2.
Yeah.
I can't believe we took out 2 faction leaders. What is that
Technically,
going
we
to do?
took out 3.
Wait,
we've taken out 2.
Lukragi, Caleb,
Lukragi
and now
and Caleb.
Nephene's got rid of Odelmerce.
Yeah.
Dan's just knocking them all down,
Amy
ready
got
for
away.
Act 3.
What's
Umi's
that gonna...
perfectly safe. Umi has to be safe. She's perfect.
What happened to Umi? I lost track of her in the chaos.
She disappeared.
She got scorched and vanished.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
she's all right.
But what's that going to do to our tier? Like,
Yeah, seriously, toe to toe with
'Cause
2 faction bosses.
we've just taken out 2 factions, essentially.
Tier 3 for Act 3.
We'll have to find out next episode.
Oh,
We're gonna be so mega wanted. We're gonna be mega ultra.
Just the most wanted.
Super
We've
wanted.
just done our time.
Yeah.
We've just done our time, so we.
I was going to say, you technically arrested 2 people. That should remove 2.
Yeah, good time.
It's always nice to feel one, though.
So, with all that in mind, if you enjoyed that, make sure to hit the like button and comment down below on who you think is the next faction on the chopping block. And to find out if you were correct, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications of when we release new videos, because that's happening super frequently. We wouldn't want you to miss out. And we are officially on the home stretch of the Elysia Rising campaign.
Lots to talk about in Algernon's Angels.
Oh, yes. So, with all that said, thank you for watching. Thank you all for playing. This was a mega bump episode. So yeah, I appreciate and love you all. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.